Some songs don't just top the charts, they erase everything that came before them, and everything that comes after. For a few weeks, a name is everywhere. Then, it's nowhere. Not a slow fade, a total disappearance. 10 singers. Ten songs that ruled country radio, and then vanished completely. But one name on this list didn't actually disappear at all. He just became something far bigger than a hit song, and you've probably never noticed. Let's count down the 10 country one-hit wonders that vanished without a trace. Number 10, Chad Brock. Yes! Picture a professional wrestler, mid-match in World Championship Wrestling, taking a hit that ends his career in the ring for good. That's not a metaphor. That's literally how Chad Brock ended up in Nashville instead.
Oh, and we sat there talking just like we were old friends.
By 2000, he traded the ring for the radio, and yes, a bouncy, feel-good single about the day he met his wife, climbed all the way to number 1 on the Billboard country chart, holding the spot for 3 straight weeks. Here's what most people missed.
Now she makes me the man I wanna be. She's the one.
Brock already had other charting singles before Yes. None of them reached the top. This one did, and it became the only one that mattered on paper. After that, the hits stopped coming. His next album barely registered. He became a radio DJ.
It's just like breathing, it's easy and it's obvious.
Faded from the spotlight completely. But the story doesn't end in bitterness. Decades later, Brock resurfaced. Back in the studio, back on stage, saying he wasn't finished yet. Sometimes vanishing isn't the end of the story. Sometimes it's just an intermission.
Oh, when I popped the question, much to my surprise,
Next up, a man who spent 7 years standing just off to the side of the biggest stage in country music before getting 3 minutes of his own.
she believed in fate, and she said yes.
Number 9, Ty England. Should have asked her faster.
Sweat just saying hi. But then, I picked up a guitar.
Before he had his own record deal, Ty England spent 7 years playing guitar and singing backup for a college roommate who happened to be Garth Brooks, during the biggest run in country music history. In 1995, England finally stepped into his own spotlight.
I never got her name. A natural disaster. Should have been.
His debut single, Should Have Asked Her Faster, shot to number 3 on the country charts. Critics loved the album. Entertainment Weekly handed it a rare A grade. And that's exactly where the story stalls.
In the corner. I one last chance to ask her on the floor.
His other singles never cracked the top 20. He tried a new label. He even tried a name change. Nothing stuck the same way. It's the strange math of the music business. You can spend 7 years building someone else's empire, get one perfect shot at your own,
But I waited too long. In a red hot minute.
and still end up remembered as somebody's former guitarist. Our next entry has become the most requested song at weddings across the country, and almost nobody can name the band that actually recorded it.
I never got her name. A natural disaster.
Number 8, Heartland. I Loved Her First.
Look at the two of you dancing that way. Lost.
A father watching his daughter dance with her new husband at the reception. That's the entire emotional universe of this song, written from a dad's point of view. Heartland, a little-known Alabama band on a tiny independent label, released I Loved Her First in the summer of 2006. Nobody expected much from it.
I loved her first. I held her first. And a place in my.
Then it climbed, slowly and steadily, all the way to number 1 that October, eventually going platinum. Here's the twist. Radio isn't really what kept the song alive. Years later, a video of a father signing the lyrics to his deaf daughter at her wedding went viral. Sending the song back onto the charts nearly a decade after it first came out. Heartland's next two singles barely dented the chart, and the band fell apart soon after. But somewhere this weekend, at some wedding reception, a father is about to dance to that exact song, with no idea who actually sang it.
And I knew the first time I saw you with her.
Number 7. Julie Roberts, Breakdown Here. In 2004, a 25-year-old from small-town South Carolina released a debut single so raw, it felt like eavesdropping on someone's diary. Breakdown Here cracked the country top 20 and helped push her self-titled album past 1 million in sales. For a moment, Julie Roberts looked like country's next big thing. Then, while recording her second album, she got a diagnosis that changed everything: multiple sclerosis. She kept it private for years, terrified of what it might do to her career, quietly managing symptoms most fans never noticed. When she finally went public, it didn't end her story. It became the center of it. She's spent years since as an outspoken advocate, still performing, still writing, still showing up. In 2023, she walked on stage at a small club.
You said I was all you'd ever need.
And was handed a gold record for Breakdown Here, nearly 20 years after it came out. She never had another hit as big, but she's still here. For an artist the industry assumed had disappeared, that might be the biggest twist of all. Before we get into the second half of this countdown,
Baby, leaving you is easier than being gone.
if stories like these are why you keep coming back to country music history, that's exactly why this channel exists. Hit subscribe so the next forgotten hit doesn't stay forgotten. Now, back to the list.
One more thing goes wrong.
Number 6. Jessica Andrews, Who I Am. She was 17, standing in a recording booth, trying to sound like a woman twice her age. Jessica Andrews had already released one album as a teenager. This next one would define her entire career in under 4 minutes. Who I Am hit number 1 on the country charts in the spring of 2001,
I'm clueless and I'm clumsy, but I got friends that love me.
making her one of the youngest artists ever to top that chart. It even ended up soundtracking a Disney Channel show. Then, almost nothing. Her next singles landed with a thud. By her early 20s, she'd quietly stepped away from the industry, gotten married, and disappeared from public life almost entirely. Here's the twist nobody saw coming. Earlier this year, more than 2 decades later, Andrews resurfaced out of nowhere, trading verses with a younger country star in a video that went instantly viral, reminding an entire generation that the girl behind Who I Am never actually lost her voice. She just stopped using it in public.
I am Rosemary's granddaughter.
Number 5. Chelly Wright, Single White Female.
I know that every morning you go thumbing through the personal warnings. You grab the latest
4 albums, years of grinding through Music Row with barely a blip on the charts. That was Chelly Wright's reality before 1999. A career that, by most measures, should have already been over. Then came Single White Female, a sly, self-assured single that finally gave her the number 1 hit that had eluded her for a decade of trying. It should have been the start of a new chapter. Instead, it became the peak she'd spent years trying to recreate. Nothing after it reached the same heights. There's a deeper irony underneath the surface, too.
Been hidden, so I'm telling you everything. It's my confession.
An artist whose signature song is about wanting to find someone exactly like me was, at the time, privately living a truth she wasn't ready to share publicly. When Shelley Wright eventually did open up, years later,
He's looking for a man like you.
it reshaped how people understood everything that came before, including the song most of them still remember her for. Number 4. Cindy Thompson, What I Really Meant to Say. In the summer of 2001, a 24-year-old from small-town Georgia released a debut album that outsold every other new female country artist in 5 years. Her single, What I Really Meant to Say, spent 3 weeks at number 1.
What I really meant to say isn't that
Critics called her a future superstar. Then, not long before her follow-up was due, Cindy Thompson did something almost nobody in her position does. She walked away. Not because a label dropped her, because she chose to. The touring, the pressure,
I'm still in love with you? Yeah.
the constant spotlight. It wasn't the life she wanted, and she said so, publicly, and stepped back. For over 2 decades, she stayed mostly out of the industry, raising a family, occasionally writing behind the scenes for other artists.
The echo of my words cut just like a knife.
Then, more than 20 years after she disappeared, she quietly released new music again, stepping back into a spotlight she once walked away from entirely on her own terms. Most one-hit wonders don't get to choose their ending. Cindy Thompson is one of the rare ones who did.
I wonder if you'll ever know.
Number 3. Kevin Sharp, Nobody Knows. Before he ever sang a note on the radio, Kevin Sharp had already survived something most teenagers never have to face. As a high school senior, he was diagnosed with Ewing's sarcoma, a rare and aggressive bone cancer. 2 years of chemotherapy and radiation followed.
Nobody knows I'm crying inside. Nobody.
With no guarantee he'd see 20. The Make-A-Wish Foundation granted him one request: to meet legendary producer David Foster. That meeting eventually led to a record deal, and in 1996, his cover of Nobody Knows
How could I let my angel get away? Now
spent 4 weeks at number 1 on the country charts. Here's what most people missed. It wasn't even his song originally. It was a cover of an R&B hit. But something about Sharp's version, a cancer survivor singing about hidden pain nobody else could see, hit differently. He landed 2 more top 5 hits after that, then faded from the charts by the end of the decade. He spent his later years as a motivational speaker, still connected to Make-A-Wish, still telling his story to people who needed to hear it. In 2014, Kevin Sharp died at just 43, from complications unrelated to the cancer he'd once beaten. The song that made him famous was about surviving what nobody else can see. In the end, that turned out to be true in ways no one could have predicted.
a million words couldn't say just how I feel.
Number 2. Mary Chapin Carpenter, Shut Up and Kiss Me. Here's a name that breaks the pattern of this entire list. Mary Chapin Carpenter wasn't some flash-in-the-pan artist who got lucky once. She charted more than a dozen singles through the 1990s. She won multiple Grammy Awards. She's a certified legend of the genre. And yet, by the strictest technical definition, she's still a one-hit wonder. Out of everything she ever released, only one single, Shut Up and Kiss Me, in 1994, made it all the way to #1 on the country charts. It's the exception that proves how narrow the label really is. A songwriter this respected, this influential, boiled down to a footnote about chart positions. Consider it a reminder to take the rest of this list with a grain of salt. Sometimes, one-hit wonder says less about an artist's talent than it does about the strange, narrow math of the charts themselves. Now, the artist at #1, the one whose story actually flips the whole theme of this video upside down. #1, Rhett Akins, Don't Get Me Started, and That Ain't My Truck.
Going out with him. She's been going out with me.
In the mid-1990s, Rhett Akins looked like a star in the making. That Ain't My Truck became one of the most recognizable heartbreak anthems of the decade, climbing to #3 and spending 21 weeks on the charts.
That ain't my shadow on the wall. Lord, this don't.
A year later, Don't Get Me Started went all the way to #1. By the technical definition, that's his only chart topper, which makes Rhett Akins a certified one-hit wonder. But here's where his story stops, following the rules of everyone else on this list. Akins didn't fade away.
Wondering what it was I did so wrong.
He didn't disappear. He simply stepped behind the curtain and became one of the most successful songwriters in the history of Nashville, quietly co-writing massive hits for Luke Bryan, Blake Shelton, Jason Aldean, and dozens of other stars.
Man, this ain't my day tonight.
Who topped the very charts he once topped himself. And then there's the twist nobody could have scripted. His own son grew up watching him from the side of the stage, the same way Akins once stood beside his own heroes. That son took the stage name
That ain't my shadow on the wall.
Thomas Rhett, and became one of the biggest country stars of his generation, racking up more #1 hits than his father ever chased as a solo artist. Today, when father and son perform together, they still play That Ain't My Truck.
Good at all. That's my girl, my whole world.
The crowd still sings every word. Maybe that's the real lesson buried in every name on this list. Some artists vanish because the industry moved on without them. Some vanish because they chose to walk away on their own terms. And a rare few don't vanish at all.
That's my girl, my whole.
They just change shape, working from somewhere the spotlight never quite reaches, shaping the very songs that replace them on the charts. Rhett Akins never really disappeared. He just became the machine building everyone else's #1 hits.
That's my girl,
Including his own sons. That's 10 stories, 10 singles, and 10 completely different ways a career can end. If any of these names brought back a memory you'd forgotten you had, that's exactly why we tell these stories. Subscribe, so the next forgotten hit doesn't stay forgotten.
that's my